Take them or leave them, but by 2020, the millennials will make up a third of all adults in the United States. Basically, they are the people born between the early 80s and the 2000s.
This week's Time magazine called you lazy, entitled narcissists.
Get ready for the selfie generation,
who are part of the me generation.
And a rock the vote ad to get young people involved in the political process.
And look, somebody's got to do something because young people are not voting.
You know, social media and the influence it has on children's development is something that parents ask us about all the time.
There's nothing is going to happen if they and you don't get out and vote.
No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace!
Do we want them to vote if they don't know the issue?
No, this is why they call it outnumbered.
White policemen are killing black young folks, such as women, men, and children.
So do you really want to motivate them to vote and be ignorant at the polls?
Girls are called the radical brownies, and instead of learning sewing, they're learning social justice.
Helping parents communicate with their teenagers about appropriate social media use.
Finally, there's a place on the web where young black people can speak for themselves.
Parents need to be especially vigilant.
The stories of school children as young as 5 sending sexualized messages online.
Don't have sex, because you will get pregnant and die.
Should sex education be taught earlier?
There are big issues, but we also feel like these are conversations that they're not too young to be having.
Some of the poems are about rape, some of the poems about murder, not being loved, loneliness.
Dozens of teens littered Michigan and State Street near Chicago.
Nowadays, the generation of kids and teens, they act pretty crazy nowadays.
That this was all planned weeks ago on social media. A total of 28 arrests were made last night surrounding these downtown disturbances involving teens. Of those, 25 were juveniles.
I mean, we do see crimes like this every day, and it's going to take a lot to stop police brutality.
Meanwhile, at this very minute, security guards are kicking kids out of a west suburban mall.
In February, teens stormed Fort City Mall, causing a ruckus inside and out.
The idea is to keep youngsters from scaring away shoppers.
They build us brand new shopping malls so that we'll forget where we're really standing.
You have to bring your parent to the Chicago Ridge Mall if you're a teenager.
On the bones of the Hispanics.
And handing out flyers like this to make sure no one under 18 gets in without an adult.
On the bones of the slaves.
The idea behind the policy is to promote a more family-friendly atmosphere.
On the bones of the Native Americans.
The youth supervision policy applies to anyone who is 17 or younger.
On the bones of those who fought just to speak.
I think it's wrong. I think you're taking a safe environment here with security, movie theaters, food court, and you're taking the kids and throwing them back out into the neighborhoods that are rough and tough today.
This is what juvenile prison in America usually looks like.
A teen from Royal Palm Beach is going to Washington, D.C. to find a solution to teen violence.
We're looking at how unemployment is affecting young people around the globe.
There are 100,000 kids in the juvenile justice system right now. The question is, can they be saved?
Adults in the juvenile justice system make decisions every day that deeply affect young people, most of whom pose little risk to public safety.
We're a group of 12 and 13-year-olds trying to make a difference.
They've been in gangs and committed crimes like rape, assault, attempted murder.
What we're working on, mainly all throughout the year, is community improvement and violence prevention, and we do that through the arts.
If I was in a lockdown facility, I would want to run.
There is a common theme, absent parents.
By removing kids from their homes for what is often typical adolescent behavior.
We're dealing with the school-to-prison pipeline. These schools don't really handle the children how they're supposed to. They rather let the police handle them.
We divide our applicant pool of circa 8,000 candidates into 30-plus geographic regions.
4 varsity sports.
How many 6-year-olds can say they performed at the White House? Grandma Murrow immediately contacted the prestigious Juilliard School of Music in New York. With
With instruction from Del Rosario and many generous mentors, including Mary Sauer,
the first chair trumpet in the orchestra,
Emily has blossomed.
How many would like to admit?
Everybody knew that the school system was discriminatory.
Waitlist.
Growing up, I based my self-worth on my ability to get good grades.
Degree in hand, graduates are about to begin real life and the world of work.
When a student is particularly poor and are achieving an exceptionally high level, that will be a plus factor for that student.
The ever-growing student loan debt problem.
They give awards for best attendance, but not for keeping your family off the street.
First tonight at 5, students in Austin add their voice to nationwide protests.
There are things missing from our history books.
Because we're taking American government, but it doesn't teach us what the system is doing to us. It's teaching us what the politicians' jobs is to do.
When you talk about politics, not everybody wants to listen.
So right now we're using theater. We come together and identify oppressions that we all have. We create stories based off of them, like not created stories, but like real life stories that we've been through.
And they spread around the country today, like this one in Pittsburgh this morning, and in Denver, students walked out of Abraham Lincoln High School.
If we use music, if we use sports, if we use cultura as a way to bring people together.
Because you do not owe the previous generation anything.
A lot of youth have something to say now. We understand now, and we want our voices heard now.
It starts with young people getting together and deciding that we're not going to take this anymore. And that.
Shoot! Don't shoot! Don't shoot! Don't shoot!
It meant a lot to me to see so many people, not only African American people, but people of different backgrounds, allies, people of different ethnicities, coming out to show support.
This is just my way of being like, I'm fed up with it. It's stupid, it's ridiculous, it needs to end.
How many countless school shooters or bank robbers or armed robbers have been caught in the act and apprehended alive while in the process of trying to assault an officer?